Record.
I'm muting us out, or me out, because I've got kids screaming.
Okay, no problem. All right. Well, thanks, Lindley, for joining us on our RVP to be call. I really wanted her to share her story because I just find it very inspiring. I think the first time I met Lindley was in a parking lot, right?
It totally was.
You totally scared me because I just got my Mercedes, and then this lady, she pulls in front of me, jumps out of her car, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh my God, who is this? Anyway, it was awesome. And then we introduced each other, and I was dropping off a Pamper basket or something, and I think we were friends, or I don't know, but yeah, so that was great. And then again, we spent some time at Chiquita, so and that was also really good. And I liked how your story progresses, and I think it just shows how much things can happen in a short amount of time and how quickly things can change in a business, especially if we feel like we're in a funk or like we're not getting there fast enough. Things can turn around really fast. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you tell your story, and then we might have some questions at the end and stuff like that. So
sure. Oh my gosh, Carmen, I totally forgot about that until you just said that, and that's so embarrassing. Well, I will never forget that day. I was like, she has no clue who I am, and I just literally threw myself in front of your circle, like, stop! Oh, that was too funny. All right. Well, thanks for asking me to do this. I've literally just been running errands all day and stuff. I was like, oh, I got my lashes filled yesterday, so I don't even need to put makeup on, thank goodness. The bonus of having lashes. So I guess I'll tell you guys a little bit about my story, and then just I guess where different parts of my business, where I was in certain parts of my business, and what kind of propelled me to kind of go forward. So I started my business would have been August. Well, technically I didn't officially launch until September. But I signed up or whatever in August of 2012. After Brittany had hosted a show for me, or I hosted a show for her, I guess. And I was not interested in the business whatsoever. I had some friends of mine that were at my party and that were interested in starting. And I just kind of said, you know what, you sign them up, you go for it. That's fine with me. You can sign them up and they can be part of your team, and you guys can just go out on your merry way kind of thing. I wasn't interested in starting at all. And she said, well, just think about it for a couple nights. I'm not going to put this order through till, the weekend or whatever it was. She's like, just think on it and let me know kind of thing. And so the whole 5-year question, right? Where will you be in 5 years if you continue to do what you're currently doing? That was really stuck in my mind. And that's really what kept me up at night for a good week. And so probably every day I was texting her, calling her with questions. And Kyle and I had just gotten married. We had just moved into our home in April, and I was hosting this show in July. So it was technically the very end of July that I hosted the show. And so it was more so honestly, I think she convinced me to have the show because I just moved into this house, and you're like, you can have girlfriends over and have a spa night in your new house. I think we had just gotten our furniture, and it was like, thank God we got our furniture in time. But anyway, so that was kind of, that was initially how I got started. And the whole 5-year question really stuck in my mind because, like I said, we just got married, we just bought our house. At the time I was working close to 60 hours a week at the salon. I'm a hairstylist by trade. And I was working 45 hours a week behind the chair. And then I was working probably another 10 to 20. It just depended on the week, doing payroll and scheduling and that kind of thing, because our manager of the salon was on mat leave. So I had taken over some of her, part of her position. So I was busy. And I mean, I wasn't complaining about it. I had taken on the role knowing full well that it was going to be more work. And I really liked doing book work. I don't know, the whole numbers thing. I just liked it. It was kind of relaxing for me. I don't know. Anyway, I took that on in an excited an excited mindset for sure. So anyway, I was working lots and I didn't have time for anything else. I guess that fall was the first year that I wasn't curling competitively. And so I had been curling competitively for years, and that takes up a really, really good chunk of your time from September through till March. It was pretty much every night I was at the curling rink throwing rocks or practicing, or weekends I was gone from Thursday to Sunday for bonspiels and stuff. I was taking lots of time off work for that. And so that was like actually the first fall that I decided I wasn't going to curl quite as competitively. I was actually just in like a couple leagues with friends and stuff. It was more like fun leagues rather than actually competitive. So I did have a little bit more time freed up, but I was still working 60 hours a week. So anyway, the whole 5-year question definitely kind of stuck in my mind because we knew that we wanted to start a family within the next couple of years. And I knew I didn't want to have to go back to work 60 hours a week. And being a hairdresser, if I'm not cutting hair, I'm not making money. So, if I'm cutting back on time, I'm cutting back big time on my paycheck as well. So, the whole time leveraging and residual income and that kind of thing with Arbonne really stood out to me and intrigued me. And so I decided to jump into my business. Honestly, if it wasn't for area manager Tanya Kirkwood, she was one of the girls that jumped in, and district manager Ashley Schmaltz. Those are the 2 girls that wanted to start like right that night. And they're both actually still in my business, which is crazy. But if it wasn't for them starting, I wouldn't have started a business. I know I wouldn't have. And I also know that I wouldn't have started if it wasn't Brittany doing the presentation, just because the way that she presented everything was just she was very open and honest and real and answered all my questions really wonderfully. Like, I feel like I honestly know that if it was someone that was maybe not as seasoned or, successful, I probably would have just laughed in their face. So I'm very happy that it was her that was doing the presentation. But so anyway, I decided to jump in. We had lots of success really, really quickly. I think it was, this was reduced numbers in 2012 still. We had wrapped up district manager in the first month. And so it was like August or something like that. Like I started in August and wrapped up district manager in like 2 months or 2 weeks, and went into qualifications for area and wrapped up area, like went into qualifications in September for area, wrapped up that the next month. So it's a new area manager November 1st, and I just started my business in September. So it was really, really quick, but it was a lot of Tanya was a huge part of that, and so was Ashley. They were both doing a ton of volume, and to be perfectly honest, I was looking back at my numbers, my personal volume versus my success line volume, I wasn't doing very much. It was like I really did ride on coattails to district manager and pretty much to area. And then Tanya promoted out to area December 1st. So now I am an area manager, team of me and Ashley, and Tanya is an area manager by herself, because she had literally gone area on her own. I don't know how people do that, but we did. Like, looking back at it, it's like, I can't even believe that happened, but it's a lot of work. We did a crazy amount of Christmas gift baskets that November, December, let me tell you. And then shortly after that, my team kind of just took a step back. Tanya and Ashley were still putting through orders and stuff, but they weren't really super active in the business. And I think I got really discouraged. I had lost my area. Basically, my performance account ran out. I had lost my area relatively quickly. And I was kind of just hanging out a district manager for quite a long time. It was January of 2014. I was almost losing my district. And I was okay. And that was the that was the Shekinah, I think, actually, Carmen, that we would have met. And it was that weekend really changed a lot for me. I remember Kate Martins called me out basically in front of everybody, you need to pick up a book and read. And I was like, oh, I don't have time to read. And she's like, you don't have time to read, really? You can find time to read a page when you're on the toilet, and then read, and she called me out in front of everybody. And I was like, you know what? I needed that though. I really, really did. And so I left Shekinah, that 2014. And that was January, we did 1,100 in volume. And I was going to lose my district basically. And then Shekinah was the first weekend of February. Left Shekinah and definitely had a different attitude going forward. I think we we did like 30, what do I have here? 3,600. So we definitely we doubled our volume pretty much. And then March did the same. April started to grow a little bit more. Obviously I went to Vegas that year. We did over 7,500 in April. And then in May we did region or area quals again. So May we did 10,800. And I was a couple days away from going on mat leave. So that was really I was literally done work the 30th of May. June 1st was my first day of mat leave, and Beckett was born, or he was due at the end of June kind of thing. So I was taking 4 weeks off beforehand. I was going to do hair from home for a little bit. So May we went into area quals. End of June I had Beckett, and then July we wrapped up area for the second time. So we wrapped up area, the end of July. So we did the 10,000 or 30,000 over 3 months or whatever it was. But with a newborn and basically he was 3 weeks old, I did over 7,200 personal volume that month to wrap it up, because I knew that I needed to figure it out. I needed to have that little bit of extra money. EI isn't the greatest. And I mean, I was making really good money as a hairstylist. I was. And so EI, getting whatever it is, I don't even know what it was. I want to say $1,200 over 2 weeks or something like that. I don't know. It wasn't very much. I was making good money before, so that was kind of a slap in the face. I needed the extra money from Arbonne. And so I did, over 7,200 QV personal volume that month to wrap it up. And then kind of going into the fall, we kind of obviously I didn't take a step back, but I mean, sometimes, it kind of goes up and down or whatever. And so I had full intentions of going back to work when this baby was 6 months old. Because I really, really loved my job. I had no intentions of staying at home full time. I was going to go back part time, but I wanted the extra income with Arbonne. And so I had full intentions of going back November, December, because that's really busy time in the salon. My clients were going to need me, I had every intention of going back. And so after I had him at the end of June, I was like, yeah, I'm not going back in 6 months. I want to take my full year. And so by November, I was like, oh my gosh, I was going to be back at work right now, and I don't want to go back at all, let alone after my year. And so I have a salon in my house. So I was like, well, I could do hair just 1 day a week. If I really figure this out, I can, supplement my income and just do hair because I want to do hair, not because I have to. And so November, I really decided, I was like, okay, this is it. I am going to do this. I'm going to pull up my socks, get to work. I'm going region before I have to go back to work. June 1st would have been my first day back to work. I am going to drive up to the salon in my Mercedes-Benz and say, hey guys, I don't think I'm actually going to come back to work today. Kind of got a free car. Things are going good with Arbonne kind of thing. That was what I wanted to do. And so in November, we area bonus for the first time. And in December, we area bonused again. And then January, a little bit of a dip. February, we area bonused again. And then March, we went into qualifications. And that was the month that they did the reduced numbers just because of the new website. And do you remember that? It was kind of a crazy, crazy show. And they announced it with 10 days left in the month. So went into qualifications in March, wrapped it up the following month. So did it over 2 months. So I think one of the biggest things, and it was crazy because I was actually just talking to Kyle an hour ago. I was like, okay, so I said, I kind of know what I want to talk to them about. But at the same time, I've been focusing so much with my team on bonusing. And I think bonusing is so, so important. And if you have made the decision that you want to go region, first of all, you have to, no questions asked, you absolutely have to 100% be bonusing in your district every single month. If you miss a month, slap yourself on the wrist, get back and get your ass in gear, basically. You cannot miss a district manager bonus if you want to go region. You can't. You have no business if you're not district manager bonusing as a region kind of thing, right? You want to be really, really active in your personal business. So I guess, first of all, would be decide. And so how do you I think for me, and I remember this because I thought I had decided a couple times. And I think lots of people think that they've made the decision that they want to go region. And I want to tell you, if you guys at any point in the month, if the thought even crosses your mind about maintenance or just bonusing as an area. So if you're like, it's the 2nd or 3rd or 15th or 20th or 25th or whatever, and you're like, oh, well, we're only at like 15, like we can bonus. If that's a thought that's crossing your mind, you haven't decided. I can promise you, you haven't. Because if you've decided to go region, the thought of just like, oh yeah, I'll bonus this month for sure. That, don't like erase that from your mind. Don't even think about bonusing. You're aiming for 60. If you want to get into region qualifications, you need 40. Well, guess what? Your goal has to be way higher than 40 if you want to hit 40. You need to put a huge number in front of you and don't even think about 40. You're thinking about 60 every single month. Your district should be doing over 10,000. And your area has to be obviously has to be bonusing. And if you have multiple other areas, they have to be maintaining. Like they have to, no questions asked. Because you want to make sure that those areas are strong, and then the months following you promoting, they're bonusing. Because then you're going to be bonusing as a region right away, right? So having that really, really big number in front of you was really key for me. And I think like I had 65,000 in front of me. That was the number I wanted to hit. Well, by some miracle, numbers were reduced, and we had to do 23,000 in like 6 days to hit the reduced number, and we did it. So I just think that like if you have that number in front of you, whatever that number is, sometimes you're not going to hit the number, but something is going to fall from the sky. And for me, it was reduced numbers in March because I had made that decision. I was going region. I didn't know how the heck that was going to happen that month, but I remember it was like the 20th of the month, and we were like at 17,000. I was like, how are we going to hit 37? Like we needed to do another 20. And I was like, I don't know how this is going to happen, but it's going to happen. Like, I knew it. I'm like, I don't know if somebody's going to fall from the sky tomorrow or whatever. And then like the next day or 2 days, I remember we were at Anique's actually for Wine and Wonder. And we walk in the door and she's like, did you get the email? And I was like, what email? And she's like, did you get the email? I look at my phone and like, I literally had like, I don't know how many messages from Brandis, because Brandis and I were both trying to get into qualification that month. And she's like, I think I'm in qualifications. And I was like, what? And I look at my phone and I literally started sweating instantly. And I like went into her kitchen. I'm like taking layers off. I was like so hot. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to happen. Like, it's actually going to happen. I'm like, this is my 65,000 all of a sudden, right? Like, I mean, it isn't, but it is. I needed to hit that really big number, and now that number was reduced because the numbers were reduced. So anyway, I think like having that really, really huge number in front of you is key. Don't let yourself think about 40,000. If you're thinking 40, you're not going to hit 40. You need to have like a commit goal, like 100% you're doing whatever this is. And then your what would you call it? Commit, push, and then stretch goal. And so your stretch goal is going to be like your 65,000 goal. Your push goal is going to be 50, and your commit is going to be like 35. Because if you can do 35 this month, you know damn well you can do region quals next. So I just think that's the way I think about it, right? So we had done that. And so I started writing out. So when I was telling this to Kyle, I was like, oh, I wonder how many months, because I focus so much on district manager bonuses. And Anique and I were talking not too long ago, and she said if she went back into her web stats or whatever, and she tracked all of her region promotions within her success line, she's like, I can almost guarantee you that every single one of those regions, the 12 months prior to them promoting, hit their district manager bonus every single month. And she's like, if you focus on district manager bonusing and you hit your district manager bonus 12 months in a row, chances are you're a region. And so I was like, okay. So like, I wonder what mine were, because I don't know. Like I've never tracked that. I just know that now I always hit my district manager bonus, no questions asked, every single month. So I went back into my business, and this is crazy, you guys. If you want to write this down, feel free to write this down, because I thought this is absolutely crazy. And I'm actually going to do a training for my team after this, because when I wrote this out, I was like, oh my gosh, everyone needs to hear this. So I started my business in September of 2012. Okay, so 2012, September, October, November, December, I finally hit my district manager bonus. And we were already in area, and I finally hit my district manager bonus for the first time. So it just goes to show you that I wasn't really active in my personal business very much, right? 2013, went all of 2013 without hitting any bonuses. 2014, January, February, March, nothing. And that January was the Shekinah where, that was like my aha moment kind of thing. April and May, I district manager bonused. June, July, August, September, October, nothing. Okay, so like all summer into the fall, nothing. November is when I made the decision that I was going region. I had literally district manager bonused 3 times in my business. That was it before I made the decision that I was going region. That's it. That is absolutely mind-blowing to me. I was like, I only bonused 3 times and then I made the decision. That just goes to show you the power of actually making the decision, you guys. Because that's nothing to be proud of. I don't want to be excited about that when I'm telling that to my team, but it just goes to show you the power of a bonus and the power of personal activity. Okay. So that was November and December. I hit my district manager bonuses both months. Those were the months that we, that I had made the decision that we were going to go region. Okay. January, February, district bonused and area bonused. March, district and area bonused. April, district and area bonused. May, district bonused, promoted out another area. So I just missed my area bonus that month and in June. So June's still district bonus though. See, like district bonus, district bonus, district bonus every single month. July was kind of not the greatest month. Didn't hit it in July. August, September, October, district bonus, district bonus, district bonus every single month. November, district and area bonus. December, district and area bonus. January of 2016, district and area bonus. Okay, so seriously, you guys, it was the moment in time where I made the decision that I was going region. I never missed a bonus except for 1 month. That was it. I've missed my bonus once since making the decision last November. And before that, I had only earned my bonus 3 times in 3.5 years.
That's crazy. And it kind of shows that, okay, because you can start to think, oh, well, I haven't been good at hitting my bonus lately, so therefore I'm not ready to go region. I'm not ready to try this out or whatever, right? But it all starts when you make the decision, okay, well, this is the goal. This is a good specific goal I can work towards, and it all kind of lines up, right?
Yeah. And I honestly think that if I would have heard Anita telling me that beforehand, I probably would have been like, oh, I'm not ready to go region. I need to focus on district bonusing, right? And I probably would have just thought, okay, well, district bonus for a year, whatever. That's stupid. Don't think that. Focus on district bonusing, but throw that 65,000 in front of you, because that's how you district bonus. If your goal is 65,000, you're probably going to hit 5,000 in your central district, right? It's just going to happen. But it's crazy. And before I went region, we area bonus 3 times and went region. That was it. So I have a couple girls on my team that they've been consistently district bonusing. They've been hitting their area bonus here and there. I'm like, you're ready to go region. They're like, well, I don't know if I am. And I'm like, yes, you are. Do you want me to draw out what my organizational chart looked like when I went region and what yours looks like right now? Trust me, you're ready to go region. You're bonusing every single month. You're ready to go region. And sometimes someone needs to see that drawn out, this is what my journey looked like. And since then I've bonused every single month, literally missed July. That was it since last November. So I just think it's the power of the decision. And like I said, if you are thinking once over the course of the month that oh, well, if I hit my bonus this month, I'll be happy. Or if I come up a little bit short, you haven't made the decision. You haven't, because if you've made the decision, you aren't thinking any of those, you're not letting those doubts creep into your mind at all. And if you have made that decision too, your calendar is so full, you are jumping for joy when you get a cancellation. Let me tell you, you're like, thank the Lord, I have a cancellation this week. So fill your calendar, jump into personal activity, way, way more than you thought you had to. Sit down with your spouse or your significant other and make sure that they know that the next 3 to 5 months of your business is going to be crazy, crazy busy, because it will be. Going region and the 2 to 3 months following is insane busy, and so, there's nothing you can do about it.
How did you fight those demons? Did you have those? I know when I decided, all those thoughts would creep into my head to get out, because the numbers seem so big. Oh my God, I need 60,000. How is that even possible? I couldn't logically add it up. And if you're someone who likes to do that, you can look at all the people and you can add and you can say it doesn't equate. And then you write it off, because I know nothing in my list equated. I couldn't figure out the how. But yeah, I just had to trust in the process of it. And I don't know what were you doing during that month to keep your head in the game?
I have like 3 whiteboards, and I had all of my, like I had my organizational chart, like my bubble chart drawn out, and I would draw it out and be like, okay, well, if I find 2 new business builders with full orders, and Jody finds a new business builder with full order, and Tanya finds another business builder with a full order, and everyone's doing, she's hitting her bonus, she's hitting her bonus, I know she's going to hit her bonus, she's hitting maintenance, maybe I can call this consultant who's just a shopper and, you know, convince them, you know, to collect a bunch of orders. And if they hit 1,000 QV and I go regional, I'll give them $50 cash or whatever. Like I was incentivizing people that weren't really active in my business. And then by default, they were placing orders. They weren't necessarily hitting what I'd asked them to do anyway, but they were still placing 500 QV here, 500 QV there. It all adds up. And so I literally drew out every single person that was a part of my organization in some way, shape, or form. If they were just a really good consultant shopper, they were on that bubble chart, and I was counting on 1,000 QV from that person. So I wasn't, because sometimes you need to dream with those people, because otherwise you kind of shut it out and you're like, oh, well, it's not possible. Like the numbers aren't adding up. Well, if you all of a sudden say, oh, well, Sarah over here, she's just a shopping consultant and she's going to do 1,000 this month. And then, you know, Bobby Joe over here, she's a shopping consultant, but I could probably convince her to do 2,000. Like all of a sudden another 10,000 comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Right.
And so I think that was like the biggest thing for me was literally, and I was like, and I would get my area managers, okay, who do you have on your team that, you know, used to be active that you could maybe incentivize? Like if you can get your area to do this amount, I'll get you whatever. Like I was incentivizing my team like crazy. I gave away a lot of stuff, but whatever, it's totally worth it. Looking back at it now, like we've missed maintenance like maybe twice. Like, I don't know. It's just, we've just consistently been climbing.
Yeah. And I like that, having the map in like on a whiteboard. Like often we can have it in a book and then that gets under the pile of papers. If anyone else is like me, it's under stuff and in stuff, but having it out as a visual all the time as like I think that's a really good, I like that idea actually. I had like a going region book, but I like that it would just be up and visual, and you could probably spot the holes much more and stay more engaged and focused. For sure.
And you can, and when it's on a whiteboard like that too, you can add things in if someone's like, if someone isn't responding to your messages, well, I could probably erase the 1,000 QV that I was hoping to get from them, right? I can just put a question mark beside their name, but I keep it up there because then I remember to follow up with them a week later. If you erase their name, then they're erased from your mind too. You need to keep that in front of you. But I literally drew out my organizational chart to a point where people were not working and they weren't putting in volume, but they were on my chart, because if I could get 100 QV out of them, I was going to take it.
Right.
And just having that in front of me all the time, because then I could follow up with them. I could, whatever. I did a draw for $100 Visa gift card for every I think it was for every 250 QV they put in. These are just shopping consultants. For every 250 QV they put in, they got their name entered in a draw for a $100 Visa gift card. Yeah. And just like little things like that made a big difference. I think I probably got like 6,000 or 7,000 QV based on shopping consultants putting in little orders here and there.
Yeah, and I think that comes with the decision, like, holy crap, this has to happen. So, so where's the incentives? Yeah, you just kind of make it, pull everyone together. The energy kind of creates it. I keep butting in here. Do you guys have some questions, like Carmen, Michelle, or Jillian, that you'd like to ask Lindley?
I don't really have a question. I just have more of the concern is like when you said that if no one else did the presentation other than Brittany, that scares me because it's like, holy shit, that's true. There is some people that just relate, but yeah. I think
it was the confidence in how she talked about the business. And I think that's part of the reason why I've just like practiced talking about the business more, because I know that I wouldn't have started if it wasn't for her confidence and belief in the company and the business. And there's people out there that will join if you say that, like, you could just tell them that you'll, I don't know, bake them cookies next week and they'll join you. I don't know. Like, some people just join for like the stupidest reasons, or they think they're going to make all this money and they sign up with a 150 QV order and think they're going to be a millionaire. And then they're wondering why it's not working, why they're not a district manager after 17 months. It's like, well, are you kidding me? You know, but then there's the people that you really need to know what you're talking about and believe. Some people don't care how successful you are, but they believe your belief.
Yeah.
And they don't care.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's not necessarily that it was Brittany Johnston who had all the success. It was her passion and her conviction.
It was her, yeah, exactly. And I mean, if she didn't have the car, like, her having the car had nothing to do with me signing up. It was her belief and the conviction in her voice when she was talking about it, and just how passionate she was about it. The fact that she had the Mercedes-Benz already had nothing to do with the reason why I started. It was just like her knowledge of the industry and her passion and conviction behind her voice that had everything to do with why I started. She could have been driving her old Sunbird for all I care. I probably still would have joined her, but it was just the belief that she had. So I think if you feel like you're struggling with that, you need to work on that big time and pick up a book. Like, honestly, read, like, I don't know.
So what's your favorite book to read?
You're a Badass and Girl Boss are my two top favorite books.
Yeah, we love Badass too in our team, but I haven't read Girl Boss.
Oh my gosh, seriously, go buy it tomorrow.
Yeah? Okay.
Your life will be changed forever.
Is that right? Okay.
It's so good. I read it in a day.
Oh, okay. That's exciting. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, I read it in a day. The entire book is like highlighted and dog-eared and like destroyed. It's so good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lindley, when you promoted to region, how many like areas and districts did you have like at that time?
The month I promoted up my second area. So Jody was an area manager and Tanya was a new area manager, and Jen and Ashley were district managers. I had 4 people direct to me.
So you had two areas and 2 districts. How about like how many districts, like when you went into qual, how many districts in your whole team did you have? Sorry, I'm just
10.
I'm like the numbers person, like you remember.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think 10, because I think Jody had 3 district managers, Tanya had 4, and Jen had 1. And then Jen and Ashley. Yeah, so I had 10 district managers and 2 area managers. Yeah. Yeah, so 12 managers total. So, and then I just remember, like, when Brittany went nation, she had a coaching call with Deanna Heron. I think it was Deanna Heron. And she told her to, like, not even consider going nation until she was 10 direct managers wide. And so that's my goal between now and April, May kind of time frame, is to be 10 managers wide to go into qualifications for nation. And so when someone of that caliber tells you, like, don't even think about it till you have 10 managers, you're like, okay, we're going to work on 10 managers and then I'll think about the number kind of thing. And so at that point in time, she had 10 managers. She was like literally perfectly lined up to go nation, and we did it in like 2 months later. So it was just kind of cool after like listening to her like read the notes back that she had written and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think I had, so 10 district managers and 2 area managers, but only 4 direct. And I think I have so many people that ask me, like, whether they're actually more people that aren't even in the business. They're like, oh, how many people did you have? I'm like, I personally had 4 people. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, I had 4 people. Those people had people, and those people had people. Like, I don't need to know 75 people to, have a really great organization. I knew. And the only person in my organization that I knew before I started my business, or the only, I guess, technically 2, was Ashley and Tanya. Everyone else I met through people, right? So it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So how long have you been a region for? Like, what month? I was writing down all your bonuses, but when month did you go region?
I promoted May 1st.
May 1st. Oh, okay. So what's your goal for nation?
June 1st.
June 1st. Wow.
So I got some work to do between now and then, but
it's encouraging to know. It's encouraging to know that you don't have to have this crazy wide team like to go region. Like, you don't have to know 1 million people and get them all on your team. I like that.
I know. I think it's important. I know when we bring people in is to help them create that depth right away. Like Lindley, even you said you started and you had that early success with joining with those. But that is the best way to start people, is seeing that leverage of time right away and building legs. Because the width can get really wide too, where it gets like this because they're coming and going. And it's almost like, oh my God, like I'm so wide. I can't, like, I don't know what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Instead of some 4 solid like legs.
Yeah.
I think that's like, you feel like strong, right? Like, yeah.
You do. And the thing is too, I think the biggest thing is like, and since I've gone region, I have 2 more directs that I've been working with really, really closely. Since I went region, I have 4 more directs that are like still in the business. Okay. And 2 of them are in area quals right now. And I'm trying to think, Brittany joined the month after I went region, and Kristen started in November, just this past November.
Oh, so that's how quickly they were going area.
Yes. Yeah. And so what I've really started to focus on right now is making sure that that they're an executive district manager before I even consider leaving them to do anything. Because I want to make sure that they know exactly what to do to turn around, and then I can help someone else do the same thing. And so with, like, for instance, neither of them are executive district managers. They're just district managers in area qual. And so I'm like, I'm still not leaving you. Like, you're doing over 10,000 a month. I'm not leaving you. Because 1 or 2 people on their team quit, they get discouraged. All of a sudden they're back down to doing 2,500 a month instead of 10,000. Another couple months goes by and they're gone. That's what happens. That's what happened to me almost. If I wouldn't have gone to Shakina, I probably would have quit. I'll just be honest. I was doing 1,000 QV. Let's get real. And so I have no intentions of leaving them alone unless they're at least 2 district managers wide. Like, I'm coaching with them like almost on a daily basis, because I want to make sure that they are strong areas. In an ideal world, I'm going to be coaching with them pretty closely until they're bonusing areas. If I have the time and, the time to put into it. I'm launching, 1 girl this next week or 2, and then potentially another one. So I'm just like, I'm going to have a lot more on my plate right away. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not leaving you. I'm like, sorry, you're going to be hearing from me on a daily basis still. So I think that's a big part of the reason why I've consistently district and area bonus, because I'm still focusing on my personal business. I'm still focusing on like my clients and follow up and finding new business builders, because guess what? I only have 4 directs right now since I went region that are actually still putting orders through. People come and people go very quickly. So I'm not leaving any of them alone.
Yeah.
And that's part of my district bonus, but my area bonus is them. And just helping them. So
no, good questions, you guys. Anyone else have any feelings? Did you want to ask anything? No. Yeah. I love the big takeaways. I've got quite a few takeaways, but I really like the idea, and I know it's kind of funny how you can tell like who's this sounds funny, but who your mom is, like in Arbonne or your grandma. It's like, oh, you're totally Brittany's Brittany. Brittany is in a good way. This is a compliment, because you're very you're good at painting a vision. And I think Brittany, that's something she's very strong on. She's obviously duplicated that through you, because just putting those big numbers out there, that can go down the line as you start as a district manager. And okay, let's paint the picture of put 10,000 in your head instead of putting district bonus, but put that big number in your head. If you hit 6 or whatever, it doesn't matter. But casting that big vision first, and and keeping that in your head and not worrying about the how. And I think that's how you end up promoting and moving forward in Arbonne, is kind of setting some, I'm not trying to say unrealistic goals at all. I just mean, that's not the word. I mean, like, just really big vision thinking and going for that, like your life depends on it. And whatever happens underneath, you're still good. And that I think what's, you know, it makes that decision easier, so that you're like, okay, it opens up part of your mind to get more creative with accomplishing those goals. And
it does. And you want new people. Like, if someone brand new comes in tomorrow, you're not gonna be like, okay, so we're gonna get you in qualifications this month. We gotta make sure we get you to 1,000. They're like, oh, okay, we gotta get to 1,000.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
If someone starts, like Kristen had someone start. So she's area manager in qualifications. She had one of her friends start like last week, like 7 days ago. She had like a week before month end. And she was like, okay, so what do we need to do? And I said, okay, you're going to try and aim for you're not a district manager yet, but you're going to aim for your district manager bonus. And she's like, well, what do I get for that? And I said, well, you don't get anything, but you're going to get a lot out of it. But I'm like, actually, I said, go for 6,000, but district manager bonus is 5,005 new. So we're going to aim for 6,005 new signups. And she was like, okay. She's like, okay, well, she hit 2,500. So she had 2,500. That's awesome, right? And so now I was Voxing with her. If you guys don't have Voxer, get Voxer. I was Voxing with her yesterday, and she's like, okay, so everything that I did last month, like, does that count towards my 6,000, or am I doing another 6,000 this month? And I'm like, you're doing another 6,000 this month. And she's like, oh, okay, so it doesn't count. I'm like, well, yeah, it does count, but you're not going to subtract it. You're just going for 6,005 new signups. You're going for your district manager bonus. If you hit your district manager bonus this month, I'll pay you your district manager bonus. And she's like, oh, okay. And I just said, I'm like, I'll pay it for you. Like, I don't care. Just hit it. Go for it. Like, promote to district manager. And she was like, oh, okay. All right. And so she's just so coachable. If someone brand new comes in and you tell them that qualifications is 1,000 QV, they're going to do 1,000 QV. If you tell them to do 10,000 QV, they might hit 5. They might hit 6. They might promote, whatever. They might hit 2,500. Who cares? It's better than 1,000. Never, ever just go for what the qualifications are. I think so many people get stuck there. And I mean, I have a couple girls on my team. They'll sign somebody up and they're like, okay, and they're trying to coach with this new person. And I'm like, no, you guys. Like, don't start someone and tell them that qualifications is 1,000 QV. Never, ever tell someone that qualifications is 1,000 QV. You tell them what district manager is. You need to hit 6,000 to be a district manager this month. Don't tell them that 1,000 gets them into qualifications. That doesn't do them any good. They don't need to know that.
Yes. No, for sure. That's just paying the vision right from the get-go. I think that's true from the time we're starting to the time we're promoting and going for that next goal, wherever it is. And just, your numbers, like within that year of, having like 1,000 QV or whatever it was in January, all the way up to area a few months later, that shows us too, as soon to be regions here, that whoever's in your team that's currently doing, maybe in January they had 1,000 QV, knowing that, look at that, by May they absolutely can be an area. It helps us paint the vision for them, even by sharing your story for that, right? Just this can duplicate down the line. Yeah. Does anyone else have anything else they want to ask or share? Or
what did you say that you used with that girl? Voxer?
Voxer.
Voxer?
Yeah, Voxer.
Okay.
It's like a walkie-talkie app, and you can get Voxer Pro. It's like $35 for the year, or there is a free app, but I upgraded to the Pro app just because with the Pro app you can have it saves all of your messages, and you can have like groups of any size. So I have like a training group with my team, and I send out Voxer trainings every couple days. It maxes out at 15 minutes, so you can't send a voice message longer than 15 minutes, which is perfect because most people don't want to listen to a longer training than that. Usually I try and keep them around like 5 to 7 minutes long. They can listen to them in the morning when they're getting ready for work, on their way to work, over their lunch break, whatever. You can send like text messages, voice messages, videos, and pictures over it. But it's just like seriously amazing. It's all we use for.
So you just kind of group your girls together as far as your consultants, and then or do you have certain groups for certain?
I have a region Voxer training, so I have like my whole region in one, and then I have like my area managers that I kind of just like, it's more so just for like communicating for like recognition, like, okay, get me your recognition, this ready, let so-and-so know, whatever. Like I don't have a ton of different groups. It's basically just that. And then we have a VP's training group. So between Brandis, Lynette, Brittany, and I, we have a VP trainings group. And so if I do a training, I'll forward it to the VP trainings group, and then they can listen to it and forward it to their team. So there's some weeks like I won't do a training for like 2 weeks, but my team is still getting a training every 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
And you can save them too. So like right now, like I could do one, because I already sent like yesterday they got a training from Lynette. So I probably won't send this one today, but I'll do it tonight. I'll save it in my notes, and then I'll forward it to my team tomorrow.
Right. Okay.
So it's super handy.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's just so much faster than texting, you guys. Like, oh my gosh, like when you're trying to explain something to somebody or trying to get a hold of someone over the phone to explain to them how to find something on the website or how to explain something to somebody. Like if someone's like, oh, I have this coffee date, I don't know what to tell this girl, blah, blah, blah. Well, tone of voice is huge.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
right? And so with Voxer is nice because I can say, okay, so I would say it like this. Try and text that. Like you can't.
And so then they can just listen to it whenever they have to. Yeah. Oh, how awesome.
And it sends it live. So if I'm like talking to you, it'll be green because you know I'm still talking. It's all black if it's a like previously recorded, and you can listen to it whenever you want. But you can have like a live conversation back and forth. You just can't talk like you are on the phone. You have to wait till the person's message is done and then send one back. So it's just like a walkie-talkie. It's awesome.
Cool.
Okay. Like, yeah, someone told me to get this a while ago, and I didn't. Not that I didn't listen, but I just didn't do it yet.
I think it was I can't remember who was doing the trainings, who told us about the trainings, and then I spoke at an event for Claire McKay in Winnipeg in November, and she was like, okay, tell me about this Voxer training, because then Jamie Clarkson and like all those girls wanted it too, so I'm like, seriously, you need to get it. So now they have Voxer trainings too. It's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, that's something we might have to start. Hey, girls?
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I like that idea. Thanks.
Yeah. It's just it's a really easy way to touch base. And the thing is too, sometimes like lots of people, I have lots of girls in my region that they don't check the Facebook page as regularly as I would like them to.
Yes.
But their phone is always on them and they'll get a notification. So I'll send just like a text message through the training group and I'll say, hey, check out the region page ASAP.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? Or I'll just say, or I'll text, okay, this is a message from Lynette. Take a listen when you have a chance and I'll forward Lynette's training. Or
stuff like
cleaning
that.
group is open. Whatever. Like it's just easy. It's sometimes like everyone gets a Vox and you can see who's listened or saw the message.
Oh, okay. Oh,
so I can actually go back and you can click on it and I have like 20 people or so in the trainings group. And I can actually see there's like a little green check mark beside their name if they listened to the message. So I know
that's kind of nice because you never know who's watching the stuff on Facebook groups, and then you kind of know who's plugged in and stuff. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
And like, how many times have you written a text and then reread it and went, "Oh shit, that did not sound good." That may had a different tone than I wanted it to.
I just like your feedback on how often you're communicating with your team too, because that's something that an area I'm trying to grow in. So I just like your feedback on how that you're touching base with them like every few days with the training or just to see what's happening with them. Because I just never know if I'm contacting them too much or, not in a bad way, but because when you're plugged in and you're wanting to excel and then you're wanting them to do that as well. It's nice to hear that, just your approach to doing that. So I appreciate that.
Voxer is just an easy way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's better than a text message. Like texting just sometimes it takes forever and it's exhausting and it's just
very exhausting.
I hate texting. I really do.
Yeah.
But Voxer is super easy.
Yeah, I'm totally. So Michelle, you have this already?
Yeah, I do. I just sent you another invite. I think I actually sent you an invite last time.
Sorry. I don't know. I'm not ignoring you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I added it, and like, no, it didn't catch on. No one, so I was like, whatever.
Sorry. I don't even know where to find this invite, but okay, I'll look for it. Anyway, we won't keep you, Lindley. But yeah, anyone else have anything else they want to ask or share?
I guess I could ask one more question. I keep asking so much, but so for team members that you know how we have our months that are up and down as far as being plugged in, is there any like advice that you could give on what you do to bring people back, or do you just give them their time?
I kind of just give them their space. I have one girl, she was in area quals and then just fell off the face of the planet. And she's kind of just been like back and forth, and she has every excuse in the book as to why she can't do it right now. She's having a little bit of a complicated pregnancy, but I mean, you can do a heck of a lot with this business from your couch, right? Like, she's off work now she's not due for, I think, like 8 weeks, and she's at home. I'm like, well, clean eating starts next week. Like, pretty sure you don't need to go out and find people in person. Like, you can do a whole bunch from your couch. But she just has like excuse after excuse, right? But she has a district manager direct to her that kind of wants to get going again. So I'm just reaching down to her team. And I'll just send her a message every once in a while. I'll be like, hey, you should come to the event on whatever date. And most of the time she completely ignores me and doesn't respond. But whatever, at least she knows that I'm still thinking about her. I know she can still see the posts on Facebook. She's not listening to the boxer trainings. But I know she's still paying attention to the Facebook page, and she's liking things every once in a while. I think the biggest thing with people that are kind of like, they kind of disappear, is just to touch base with them, not regarding Arbonne.
Yeah.
And just keep that relationship, because otherwise they get annoyed, because they know if they see a text message on their phone from you, they know it's going to be like, hey, come to this event, or hey, what's up, or like, do you have any orders to put through tonight, or whatever, like, and they get annoyed.
Yeah.
And they don't want to even open their text message from you, because they know it's going to be Arbonne related, and they just don't even want to think about Arbonne. So I think it's important to just touch base with them, just on a personal level, and just keep them close. And just, you know, when you're like, I mean, I was over at her place a couple weeks ago just to go visit and say hi, and I never talked about Arbonne once. Like, I was there for an hour. I never said a word about Arbonne. And then a couple days later, we were chatting, and I said, you should really come to Shakina. And she's like, I just don't know if I can make it work, and da-da-da. And I was like, well, whatever. I said, if something changes, just let me know. I said, I think there's still a couple spots left. And she's like, yeah, I'd like to, but I don't know. I just don't think it's possible right now. And I'm like, whatever. Like, I'll be around. But it's the bringing new people in that's going to fuel those old flames again. I think that's the biggest thing.
I think because they see that too. They see the activity going on. They think, oh wow, like, yeah,
she doesn't need me.
Yeah. As soon as you kind of like that dating, you let them go, all of a sudden they want you.
Right? Hard to get.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I think lots of it too, at certain points, like an area manager is kind of like it's kind of a tricky spot in that aspect, because sometimes you do need them. You need that extra 2,000 in volume. But I think bringing in new people and promoting out new district managers is really what fuels their fire to get back involved again, because they're realizing you're doing area regardless of if they're putting in an order or not. And they're like, oh, she doesn't need me. Like, she didn't care about that 1,000 QV I had or didn't have, because she still did what she said she was going to do. And they're like, oh, maybe I should come to another meeting.
Yeah.
They kind of come crawling back.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's true. And you can control that part. That's the part, like you said, with the district bonusing. If you get really good at that, you know, then that's what you can control, is that part, and that's what's going to grow you to the next level. But yeah. Well, awesome. Thanks, Lindley. Does anyone else have anything to share? No? Or, yeah.
Just thought I would say thank you so much, Lindley. Like, I like totally operate in numbers like you do, so I always really appreciate, you know, hearing that breakdown and stuff of your story. So
no problem. I'm glad you got something out of it.
No,
yes, thanks a lot, Lindley. That was awesome. I love hearing from anyone, everyone.
Yeah, I know the stories of like, wow, okay, you were area bonusing and then bam, like it looks like bam. You were right? Like it does happen really quick. It can happen really quick after that. You know? So
I think that's honestly, if there's one thing that you guys take away from this, it's focus on your district bonus and realize that things can happen a lot faster than you think they can if you just make the decision to do it. That's it. Like I district bonused 3 times before in my entire business. 3 times before I made the decision I was going region. And then from making that decision to going region was 6 months, and I only area bonused 3 times before that. So like it's not a lot, and people get freaked out sometimes by the number, but don't get freaked out by the number. Just focus on your own on your business and bonusing.
Yeah, I think sometimes you look at that big like, holy Jesus, you have to have it there, but don't look at it all day every day necessarily. Look at what you have to do, kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we totally appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. I know how busy things can be, so much appreciated. And yeah, I've recorded this, so if it's okay, I'll share it with some other leaders on the team. And
yeah, for sure. No problem.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Lindley.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Night.